One final test before OAA Red Division season gets underway, and it's already rivalry time at West Bloomfield High School at Southfield A&T and the West Bloomfield Lakers on Friday night. Good evening and welcome to another edition of West Bloomfield Laker football on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe alongside Matt Catoni. The Lakers 1-0 after an exciting start to 2025. They got it all kicked off last week Thursday against Dearborn Fordson in a 37-0 victory. Let's take a look at some of the key moments from last week's ball game. The Lake Show sets sail on their 2025 campaign with an OAA-KLAA crossover, bringing the Dearborn Fordson Tractors to the Swamp. West Bloomfield begins the season on defense, making quick work of the Tractors, as does Fordson of the Lakers. Then Jackson Carver looks long to Obi Duru, and Hassan Almehi dives for it and just missed the opening drive pick. On the next play, it's Obi Duru on the sweep, and he's going on a long run over 80 yards deep into Tractor Country, setting up a short rushing touchdown for Will Espy, the first of his varsity career. Lakers take the early 7-0 lead. After more defensive prowess from the Lakers puts too much pressure on the Tractors, Jackson Carver connects with Cam Hall to put the Lakers in plus territory. After some penalties set them back, Jamal Shakespeare arrives at the party, taking the pigskin into plus territory deep for West Bloomfield. That sets up another Will Espy rushing touchdown. Lakers lead by 14 after one. Early in the second, the Lakers go from land to air. Jackson Carver connects on the long ball to Willie Edwards, who takes it 67 yards into the north end zone. Lakers expand their lead to 21. Back on defense they go, and there's a mouse in the house. Ezekiel Davis comes up with the fumble recovery and dashes 55 yards to pay dirt. Lakers stretch the lead to 28-zip approaching halftime. Finally, the Tractors get some traction on offense. Dean Hamoud gets the grab and advances into the Laker red zone for the very first time. But the fun didn't last long. The Lakers making a couple of stops in the secondary, including a pass breakup from Christian Banks, 28-0 at halftime in favor of West Bloomfield. On to half number two, rushes from Joel Davis and Obi Duru set up Will Espy for a nice run and a tug-of-war win. Then Jackson Carver slices up another passing touchdown, this time to the big dog, Joel Davis. Lakers exercise the mercy rule, going up 35-0. On the ensuing Tractors drive, one of the most exciting moments of the entire opening night of high school football statewide. There's $1:38 to go in the third quarter. Awadala out of the shotgun, looking to his left side toward the sideline, deep pass, and oh my goodness! The Lakers come down with that 50-50 ball. Look at this, oh my goodness, Khalik Robinson.
Oh my, I thought that was going to be an amazing catch for Tyrone Reeves, but he rips it away from Reeves at the last minute.
I don't know what to say about an athletic play like that. A 50-50 ball.
They gave him the catch.
They're going to give him the catch. As we head into the fourth quarter, just over a minute later, the football gods return the favor, the other 50% swinging this way in favor of the L-Boys. Joel Evans stripping the football free, and Jamar Bray picks up the pigskin. The Lakers hold the ball for over 4 minutes before pinning Fordson deep back in their own territory, where they immediately force a safety to make it a 37-0 ball game. Fordson has to kick the ball back off to West Bloomfield after the safety, and Obi Duru decides it's his time for a close-up. The kick recovered by the Lakers at the 32-yard line to the left sideline, now shifting back the other way. Here comes Obi Duru, past the 50, past the 45, at the sideline. Oh man, he's still going. When will it stop? It stops at the 20. A big kickoff recovery for Obi Duru puts the Lakers back in the red zone.
Directing traffic as he returned it. You see him right here the second time on that return, pushing his teammates into blocks. Just his vision and awareness with the football in his hand is incredible. And just for the second time tonight, he's just wowed you, just making something out of nothing.
That's where it would stand with a running clock and third-string quarterback Nathan Mafucci leading the charge. West B goes into victory formation and exits with another opening game rowdy. And tonight, looking for a little bit more of the same as they have Southfield A&T coming into town. Matt, a mercy rule game last time around. West Bloomfield, very similar territory last season in a 44-0 victory over Southfield A&T. A lot of the key players that had a big game last week for the Lakers are going to be playing those big roles again this week against a much more veteran team that's had a lot of experience playing together in that Warriors program.
Yeah, and it's a very familiar foe in Southfield A&T, someone that you definitely do not want to lose to. It stings a lot more when you lose to Southfield A&T because of the history there. But they're a team that has definitely struggled over the last year, following up their state title with a 2-win season. So really, the number one thing the Lakers have to do today is, like you said, lean on those guys last week that performed tremendously in the run game and kind of limit the opportunities to make mistakes.
It's one of the biggest cliches in the game of football. Next man up for the Lakers this year, it's kind of familiar faces that are in new roles, adding on to their role with the team already established as they come into 2025. We look at some of our player profiles and begin with Will Espy, who's gone from defensive back to overall athlete in 2025. He played just defense last year, but you're going to see him at running back. He had 2 touchdowns last week in that role inside the red zone, plays a little wide receiver, and of course is going to be one of those absolute lockdown corners and safeties in the secondary. 2 interceptions last season, looking to grow on that in 2025. Had a lot of varsity experience learning from some of the best to play at that position in recent years with West Bloomfield, still in communication with some of those legends like Makari Page with NFL experience and others throughout this program. But he's been playing offense his entire career. He was a quarterback at the JV level, a guy with a lot of experience and a high football IQ, becoming a key player right away as he moves to offense in 2025.
And that's something that Coach Hilbers mentioned as soon as he got the job as head coach, that, you know, our best athletes, we're going to find a way to get them on the field and get them the football. And that is something that they have certainly done with Will Espy, and he's flashed when he's gotten the football so far this year.
The Lakers in their Showtime black uniforms going up against their rival tonight as they take the field at Lakers Stadium. The first Friday night game under the lights, with the cameras and the action across 100 yards of pure, unadulterated gridiron at West Bloomfield High School. Tanner Thornton, one of the team managers, bringing out that championship flag. A lot of championships recently between these two programs vying for bragging rights in the OAA. It was just a few years ago that we were talking about West Bloomfield as a powerhouse. A couple years ago, we saw one of the most dominant Division I teams in history in Southfield A&T. That does kind of bring us back to that element of rivalry between these schools, because not only do these players play for 2 historically great teams in recent years in the OAA, Matt, they've been playing together in many ways in the game of football their entire lives.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we saw over the past few years in this matchup, you know, a little bit more intensity because, as you mentioned, these guys play peewee football together, middle school football together. Some of these guys have been going up against each other for years, so it's not just, you know, school rivalry, but a personal rivalry going back to when they were in elementary, even at times.
Yeah, talking to Keith McKenzie, the head coach of Southfield A&T, he made it very clear the thing about this rivalry is it's all for the bragging rights. If you lose this game, you hear about it all year long, and you don't want to be on the losing side, especially if you're one of these 11 Warriors out on the field at any particular time. After a 44-0 loss last year, looking to punch back this year at West Bloomfield High School as we listen in to Laker Express with the national anthem. What's so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose blood shines and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the rebels we watch, who so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red Laker
Express, everyone.
Laker Express at Laker Stadium as West Bloomfield gets ready to take on Southfield A&T just moments away. Matt, again, we talked about last week for both of these teams. Very polar opposites. 8-43 loss at home for Southfield A&T against a very tough East Kentwood team looking to bounce back as a contender in 2025. For the Lakers, another blowout in week number 1. A lot to be impressed by, but a lot that needs to still be improved. What are you looking for as far as steps forward for West Bloomfield in week number 2?
Yeah, there were times that there were a handful of penalties that they got last week that you wouldn't have necessarily liked them to see when they got them, hold and even personal fouls at times. Just kind of eliminate those mistakes. Try and prevent yourself from 3rd and longs and putting yourself behind the sticks. And really, that's just the main thing you want to see, clean football.
Some penalty issues for the Lakers last week crept up throughout the week. I talked to Zach Hilbers about that. That was really what he wanted this team to hone in on this week. Get those first week jitters out, but other than that, keep the communication in check, keep yourself disciplined, know the snap count, know the packages you're going up against, and don't get too flustered by a pretty powerful front 7 for Southfield A&T. As you look at Coach Zach Hilbers in his 3rd season at West Bloomfield High School, had a big jump out front in year number 1, 10-3, all the way out to the state semifinal against these 11 Warriors, which came down to the wire. That's also on everybody's mind tonight. And whenever these two teams match up, one of the best football games we've seen in the MHSAA playoffs in decades.
Yeah, really, both of those games were phenomenal display of quarterback play. Both Isaiah Marshall and Rick Nance. It was arguably the perfect high school quarterback or matchup that you could ask for.
West Bloomfield getting ready to kick this ball off. Southfield A&T set to receive, and all eyes are going to be on Southfield A&T's young Jaden Ivey in the number 81. Took it all the way home last week on that opening kickoff against East Kentwood. Coburn delivers just outside the 20. It's going to be recovered by Ivey, taking it to the right side. Skips inside at the 20 and dives forward to the 25-yard line where Southfield A&T will get their first offensive look tonight.
Yeah, almost looked like he was going to maybe have a chance to break it loose again. But, the Lakers fly to the football and don't allow him to really have a chance to accelerate after breaking a few tackles.
A veteran front 5 for Southfield A&T. A lot of their most prolific players are in the trenches tonight. How's that going to match up for the West Bloomfield Lakers? An early test as they go up against Southfield A&T's offense that did not score a single point last week and did not score a single point at Laker Stadium just a year ago in that 44-0 loss to West Bloomfield.
Yeah, and with how dominant the Lakers front 7 was last week, you got to think that they want to replicate that level of play, especially, guys like Jeremiah Benson, who is looking to be one of the leaders on this team.
After a brief discussion with the officiating crew, Southfield A&T's offense heads over to the football, placed at the 20.5-yard line on the right hash. Two men in the backfield for Jeremy Porter. Had a nice game against the Lakers last season and an immediate whistle for a procedure penalty right away. Not the look you want if you're Keith McKenzie and these Warriors.
Yeah, we talked about the Lakers, playing clean football, not putting yourself behind the sticks. And almost right on cue, Southfield A&T does exactly that with a false start right before their first play.
Playing physical, playing smart, knowing what's going on in your game plan. A big part of what Keith McKenzie wanted to install with his team in 2025. As they whistle this active, it'll be a 1st and 15. Now for Southfield A&T, backed up to just about their 20-yard line. One man in the backfield alongside the quarterback Porter. It's Nasir McEwen. He'll take the pigskin just outside, back inside. And in fact, that is Kenny Brooks. Sorry, Tim Garr taking the football on that first look.
Jeremiah Benson getting the tackle in the backfield right there. Well, it was a group of Lakers, but he comes out from the pile. And again, he is going to be the person that everyone on the opposing team circles and has to prepare for week in and week out.
Tim Garr, another one of those key players, got some veteran experience for Southfield A&T, a few years on this varsity squad. going to be getting those early looks as they figure out this Laker defense on second down. No gain on their first try. As Porter takes it out of the, and throws it to the right, incomplete. And actually, that is their backup quarterback, Vincent Wesley, getting the nod tonight. No sign of Jeremy Porter on that last play. Wesley in the 1-2. That was what Porter wore just a year ago here at Lakers Stadium.
And just a phenomenal job in coverage right there by Robinson, not giving up any separation on that route at all and breaking that up.
Yeah, Kalik had a good week in week number 1. Some key pass breakups, getting just the pressure the Lakers needed to get their other defensive back, especially in those end zone corners, involved early. Southfield A&T now in the middle at the 21-yard line, 3rd and 15 ahead, with 11:10 to go in the first frame. Twins to the left for the Warriors, with Tim Garr in the backfield. Whistle as that ball is snapped. Jeremiah Benson was right there. He would have had the sack. Likely to be another procedure penalty on the Warriors and set them back even further.
Yeah, it looked like Jeremiah Benson and Joel Evans were going to meet the Southfield A&T quarterback in the backfield right there, but looks like there may have been they call a false start.
We do see some substitutions. Kenny Brooks comes in, a linebacker primarily, replace some running back. They're also going to line them up with that athleticism outside the tackles for some additional blocking, as they do here. Out of the shotgun, snap to Wesley, looking long, just up the field, then to the original line of scrimmage. Incomplete, broke up again by Kalik Robinson as the quarterback looking for Aiden Sutton.
Yeah, these snaps seem to be a little bit, off target. But again, no separation whatsoever on that route by Kalik Robinson. And he is just continuing so far on those 2 targets, the level of play that he had last week.
A true lockdown corner for these Lakers, and a long line of those at West Bloomfield High School looking to make his impact in the Laker number 1 this season. As we see 4th down, just a 52-second drive for Southfield A&T, and West Bloomfield going to get an early look on the offensive side. Should all go well on this punt. Kevin Blair, the tight end, also their punter and their kicker. A short, high punt to get just before the 45-yard line, take a Laker bounce toward the 40. At the 43, it bounces back, and that's where West Bloomfield will get their first offensive drive after an exciting week number 1. Matt, they get great field position and are looking to make some quick work again of Southfield A&T, much like they did on their second offensive drive just a week ago.
Yeah, really, and with how they ran the ball last week, they have to be licking their chops at just the opportunity to start at the 43-yard line, as you mentioned.
The first drive of tonight's ball game for the Lakers on the offensive side. Carver in the backfield at quarterback, lined up in the shotgun. Sends the man Espy in motion. Carver looking left, caught and up just about to the line to gain for Shannon Roshan. It'll be about a foot short for 2nd and inches.
Yeah, just a phenomenal play design right there. Getting everyone's eyes looking to the right and just delivering a dot to Roshan to make it 2nd and about a yard, maybe even just a few inches.
Carver extremely impressive in week number 1 for the West Bloomfield Lakers. His first career varsity start. We're going to take a break. We're having some technical difficulties. We'll be right back with Laker football. As we instead keep it right here. A big play for Joel Davis, making 2 big of plays out there for the internet and television to cooperate. But hey, big first down. He had a huge game in week number 1 for West Bloomfield, Matt.
Yeah, he was all over the place last week, and you could very easily argue he was player of the game, getting carries at running back, serving as a fullback, getting rotation in on the defensive line. He was just a phenomenal play, or just played phenomenally last week and looks to build off of it this week.
Yeah, first down for West Bloomfield. Carver out of the gun. Hands it off inside and just down to the 10-yard line for Cameron Hall on the sweep.
And so far, the run game just looks, and the offensive line looks like they are moving people just like they were last week as the Lakers look to be closing in on another early lead.
9:42 to go in this first period. It is 0-0, but West Bloomfield in the red zone where they had nothing but success in week number 1 against Dearborn Fordson. This officiating crew continues to talk over the specifics of this game. A lot of stoppage on that first Southfield A&T drive. Now much of the same on this West Bloomfield offensive drive.
Yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of history between these two teams, and that just always makes the job of the referees all the more important. Keep things under control.
A penalty advances the Lakers deep inside the 5, about the 2-yard line.
On the play. Face mask on the defense, number 5, half the distance. And we have a deadfall foul, personal foul, number 7 on the defense. Both penalties will be enforced. The result of the play, first down.
So a couple of penalties for Southfield A&T makes the job a little easier for West Bloomfield. Knocking on the door of the end zone. Carver will be under center with SB in the backfield. First and goal. Handoff to Hall, outside, sweeps in and gets the touchdown. West Bloomfield strikes first.
And so far this year, it looks like whoever is carrying the ball for the Lakers, if they have just one guy in front of them, they are going to make that first guy miss every single time.
Good blocks on the outside, escapes on the inside on the chasing defensive lineman, and Cameron Hall strikes first for the Lakers.
And coaches always talk about arm tackles, and that's exactly what that was right there. Defensive lineman went to just bring him down with his arms, and Hall swatted them away. Phenomenal awareness from the ball carrier.
Bryce Coburn will come in for the extra point in his second varsity game. It is up, and it is through the uprights. It's 7 for West Bloomfield and 0 for Southfield A&T. It's Laker football on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Welcome back to Laker football on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. After a less than 30-second drive, West Bloomfield leads 7-0 off of a Cam Hall rushing touchdown. And now Southfield A&T going to get their second look on the offensive side tonight.
And really, if you're Southfield A&T, you're hoping that you don't start off this drive the way you did last time, getting that 5-yard penalty, that false start to set you behind the sticks, which allowed the Lakers' defensive front to just tee off, which is the last thing you can allow.
Ivy and McEwen back for Southfield A&T. This one's going to land about the 15-yard line. To the left sideline, up to the 30-yard line, and that's all that's going to be done for Jaden Ivy on his second kick return of the day. And Southfield A&T will begin with about the same field position they had last time, plus a few yards, at the 30-yard line as opposed to the 25.
The Lakers doing a very good job on special teams so far this year, filling their lanes and flying to the football. Just goes with what we were saying with limiting mistakes.
Just 2.5 minutes gone in this first quarter between the Lakers and the Warriors. It is 7-0 in favor of West Bloomfield. Southfield A&T, just a handful of penalties, a handful of plays in their first offensive drive, marred by penalties, set them back and ultimately led them to a 3-and-out against the Lakers as they kept moving backwards, looking to move in the opposite direction on their second drive. Wesley in at the quarterback. He loses the snap, tripped up. He's looking to make a move and just goes down at the 22.
I mentioned it last drive that the snap seemed to be a bit off target, and right there, just a little bit off to the right. And this time it's too far off for him to rein it in, and it cost them 5 yards, just like how their last drive started.
And there's something to say about chemistry also factoring into this. Jeremy Porter, the starting quarterback for Southfield A&T. As I talked to Coach McKenzie for our final discussion before today's game this morning, wasn't any indication that Porter was not going to get into the game today. So that first team chemistry with Vincent Wesley, a junior quarterback, making his first start on the varsity level tonight at West Bloomfield, could also be playing a factor in that with the communication, as it's 2nd and long for Southfield A&T. Wesley looking immediately into the boundary. It is caught at about the 21-yard line, and Not a whole lot after that catch for Southfield A&T. Robinson in on that one, as is Tank Pittman, and a collection of Lakers.
Yeah, it looked like he breaks a tackle on the hit from, takes a nice hit right there from Kyron Merriweather and keeps his legs moving. Just a phenomenal job by the Lakers, though, to fly to the football and make sure that he can't advance the ball any further after that hit.
Aiden Sutton, the wide receiver, making his first catch of the day for Southfield A&T. It'll bring up 3rd down for the Warriors. Approaching 2 minutes into this drive. Wesley out of the shotgun with one man in the backfield. He'll hand it off outside the tackle, shifting back inside and going down. There's the boogeyman, Jeremiah Benson, making a key stop on 3rd down.
Already his 2nd tackle at the line of scrimmage or tackle for loss on the game, and just building off of the phenomenal performance he had last week and just continuing to live in the backfield.
A nightmare for Nasir McEwen, the junior, going nowhere, and again, 3 and out for Southfield A&T. The defense dominant so far tonight for the Yellow Boys, and they'll get the football back already with a 7-0 lead and not even close to halfway through this first period. This is a defense that shut out Dearborn Fordson last week, that had a veteran offense in the skills position, had players that had a lot of chemistry, played together at the JV level for a couple of years, many of whom had already had some varsity experience. Kind of a similar story in some ways for Southfield A&T, although a much less varsity veteran team. As they punt the ball off, lands just shy of the 45, takes a Southfield A&T bounce this time around. Instead of the Lakers beginning on Southfield's 43, they'll begin on their 42 for their 2nd offensive drive.
And you mentioned just the veteran presence on both of these teams, but similar to how we saw last year with the Lakers at times being on the opposing side of it, sometimes you just can't handle the overpowering force of another team's trench play. And so far, the Lakers' defensive line seems to have that type of presence to where it doesn't necessarily matter if you have a veteran offensive line. You're not going to be able to match their skill or their talent level.
6:06 remaining in the first period. It is 7-0 in favor of the West Bloomfield Lakers just about 3.5 minutes ago. Cameron Hall scoring the first touchdown of the season on the ground. On the offensive side, Carver under center. Hands it off to Espy, gets outside the tackles, going left. Espy looking to the sideline, Espy looking to the red zone, and Espy looking at the sideline just shy of the 25. A massive run on 1st down for 12.
And we talked about how he is getting his role is expanding and he's starting to get the ball more, and he's showing you exactly why. Shrugging off a tackler right there, throwing another one out of bounds before getting dragged out of bounds himself, but just a phenomenal run after an incredible performance last week for Espy.
35-yard run as Will Espy gets this ball to the 27-yard line of Southfield A&T, approaching the red zone where the Lakers have been on fire so far. Carver sweep outside to Obi-Duru, going right side, shifting back inside at the 15, and a big run for Obi-Duru on his first touch tonight.
Oh, that's a beautiful aspect of this Lakers offense, is you can have runs like that from SB where he's just running guys over and throwing them out of bounds, but also Duru who can just gash you like that. But there appears to be a flag on the play.
Yeah, first blemish for the Lakers offensively tonight sets them back. They had beautiful back-to-back running plays there as Duru took the ball into the red zone as SB set them up just outside on the doorstep. Now, the Lakers moving back, flipping the field to about the 37-yard line of Southfield A&T. They originally began about the same spot on the opposite side at their own 43 to begin this series. 5:45 and ticking to go in the first quarter, up 7 points. Carver out of the shotgun. Getting some pressure, he's gonna roll out to his right. Carver gonna take it himself and go out of bounds at about the 37-yard line, right about the line of scrimmage.
Just a really smart play right there from Carver. You see him pretty much as soon as he clears the tackle box, he just tucks that ball and just decides, I got to get out of bounds and eat this play. and just not turn it over, not do anything besides just get back to the line of scrimmage.
His roadblock there, Caleb Lane in the Southfield A&T 55, a junior transferred in just after the championship season from Cass Tech. Got a lot of varsity experience. Big, powerful defensive tackle can cause problems for the Lakers and their mobile quarterbacks. Now under center, Carver gonna hand it off to SB. He goes inside, he breaks through, gets to the 30-yard line, and not much more than that where he meets Kenneth Brooks.
Yeah, pretty much eliminating that holding penalty and getting back to the original line of game. But just again, you see that right there. It looks like they almost immediately just tossed a Southfield A&T player into the backfield, pancaking him immediately.
You see Will Espy already off to a hot start tonight. We talked about him being one of those key players that's going to be playing both ways for the Lakers. Another one of those is Jamal Shakespeare, who we see coming in to get his first snap at the quarterback tonight. Lakers at the 30-yard line of Southfield A&T. Got to get to the 17 to move the chains. Shakespeare, quarterback draw, takes it right up the gut. He's going to get in the range of the line to gain, but a few yards shy.
Yeah, almost kind of like a break in case of emergency type of tool. Shakespeare comes out in scenarios like these to eat up those yards and make it, kind of a more manageable fourth down. Now it's about 4th and 6, and now they can go for this as opposed to having to just settle for a field goal.
The Lakers didn't go for it on 4th down too many times last year, but quite a lot of success in doing so.
Oh, come on, they're kicking it.
A little too much excitement there, Matt. Looking for some entertaining football on Friday night, a little risk-taking, but the Lakers keen to go for the points here and give their kicker a nice test from 40 yards out. Keep in mind, it's just his second varsity football game and just his second football game ever.
Timeout from the Lakers, so maybe he's still thinking about it because they had the offense out there for a minute.
Stadium, Lakers up 7-0 with 3:47 to go in the first. And a 40-yard field goal attempt for Bryce Coburn. It is blocked. Southfield A&T going to get a chance now on the special teams front. They got some space. They got some yardage out of this one. They're going to take it all the way to the 50. There goes Tim Garr.
Shakespeare makes a tackle right there, but that's the type of plays that you love to see if you're Southfield A&T. Your offense has been struggling. You made note of how they've yet to score a point on offense this year. What better way to set up your offense than by blocking a field goal and getting the ball at midfield for them?
Say what you will about their performance on the offensive side last week, not getting any points on the board, and on the defensive side, giving up 43. The one star of this team so far this year for Southfield A&T has been their special teams. A kickoff return for a touchdown last week to open the game, and a big field goal block, although a penalty will set them back.
15-yard penalty will be enforced from the succeeding spot.
To see another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty will set Southfield A&T back instead to the 35-yard line on their side of the gridiron. Mistakes continuing to take a toll early on. Keith McKenzie for the Southfield A&T squad in his second year at the helm. Really wants them to improve on the little things, improve their consistency, their technique, their effort. That all connects to discipline in these 48 minutes, and something that he's going to continue to be coaching both on and off the field throughout the rest of this game. Still very manageable, just a 7-0 lead for West Bloomfield with about 3.5 and change to go in the first quarter. The Warriors with one man in the backfield and twins to the right. Wesley will hand it off, getting outside. Here's Nasir McEwen, spins inside of the 40, takes a big hit down to the 39, but a quality gainer on his first touch of this series.
Yeah, really good play right there on first down for Southfield A&T. Putting them in the position to where if they want to keep on running it here on second down, they can. And that's really something you have to consider with, as you mentioned, their quarterback making his first varsity start.
Now this third offensive drive for Southfield A&T. It's where you start to see those tests come into play. How much did you learn in those first couple of drives where both teams are kind of more scripted and figuring things out? About 5 yards to go.
Oh,
Wesley loses it again. Lakers going to pick it up. Oh, they're going to get another one on defense.
Oh, he took out the
Not
ref.
this time. He got caught, but ultimately it's going to be Laker football anyway on another fumble recovery for West Bloomfield 2 weeks in a row, this time self-inflicted from Southfield A&T as Kyron Merriweather takes it down just shy of the 15-yard line.
Yeah, another wide snap. This time, this one too low as opposed to the last one being too high. And once again, the Lakers get back there. Jeremiah Benson made sure the quarterback wasn't getting that football. And as you said, Kyron Merriweather flies to the football and recovers that and sets the Lakers up in prime position now to go up 2 possessions.
In the red zone where they have been quite successful over the last few seasons, scoring on just over 86% of their red zone appearances, at least 3 points in 2024 as Carver's under center. The bunch formation. Paul in motion will hand it off to Shakespeare. Straight up the middle. Shakespeare straight into the end zone. Touchdown, WB.
And he spins the football as he celebrates, and just a phenomenal run right there. Quarterback to quarterback on the handoff there. And just Shakespeare, just a poetic run right there. As the Lakers take advantage of the fumble, he shrugs off the tackle, and they go up 13-0.
Once again, the Lakers getting in the end zone on the run. They did that twice in a row to open up last week. And they do it again tonight as Coburn will come out for the PAT to try to make this a 14-0 contest early on. Hold from Shakespeare, the touchdown getter, and Coburn puts it through the uprights. It's 14-0 West Bloomfield. Let's take another look at that scoring play from Jamal Shakespeare. The blocking just perfect, and he follows the opening that his offensive line created in order to get him that opportunity to get into the end zone where he had 6 rushing touchdowns in 2024. He gets his first of 2025 to put the Lakers up 14-0 with 2:32 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, usually when you see your offensive lineman in that much space downfield, usually means good things if you're a running back. And Shakespeare takes advantage of that hole created by the offensive line right there and hits Bader.
Now we got to start asking the question about these Lakers. What's been more impressive so far in these first almost 5 quarters now of the 2025 season? The offense that's been lighting up the scoreboard, or the defense that has given their opponents absolutely nothing to work with? That's the big question for Laker Nation with 2:32 to go into in the first quarter. Now their third kickoff of the night. Coburn lining the ball up at the 40-yard line on the left hash, moving left to right across the gridiron. With Jaden Ivey and Nasir McEwen back to return this for Southfield A&T. A shorter kick about the 30.
Oh.
After the bounce.
Oh, what a hit.
It's going home. West Bloomfield gets the football. Rod Toddy picking it up.
What a play. Just beautiful special teams play. Oh, my God, number 8 on Kevin Blair opting to hit a Laker instead of trying to recover the football. And just a phenomenal job by the Lakers special team, flying down there, maintaining their lanes, flying to the football, and they come up with the football and now potentially able to go up 21-0.
You want to be making the big plays and the smart plays in all 3 phases we've seen in the special teams. Last week it was that Obi Duru kick return where nothing really was happening for him on the left sideline in the boundary. He came back around. He shoved one of his teammates into a potential tackler. He took another one in Bryce Chandler and moved him into the correct blocking space to make a huge kickoff return. Similar action there as you take a dive into your own teammate to set up a block. On first down, Carver spins and hands it off to SB. He'll get up to the 15-yard line for another little scamper on 1st and 10.
And what I mean, what screams football more than just flying down on kickoff, not even trying to recover the football, just hitting someone so they can't recover the football. I still just can't get over that, but now the Lakers just have to capitalize on that, and they are on track right now. A huge run right there on first down.
Yeah, maybe cover some post-game snacks after a hit like that with some friendly fire. The second down for West Bloomfield at the Southfield A&T 15. Carver under center with Shakespeare in the backfield. Play action ends up getting that ball to Jamal Shakespeare instead. A little miscommunication brings the Lakers back. A couple of Warriors on that tackle. It's Caleb Lane and Christian Smith, the veterans.
Yeah, it looked like Shakespeare was going to be able to shake off the hit right there, but Smith holds on and does not let him get out of the backfield.
Minute 25 and ticking in the first quarter. West Bloomfield leading 14-0, and they are once again in the red zone. They began this drive in the red zone, now just at the open door of the red zone at the 20-yard line on the right hash. Looking to go 3 for 3 tonight in that area of the field and make this a 3-score ball game before we get out of the first frame. The third down and about 11 for West Bloomfield. Carver hands it off to Duru. Outside the tackles on the left side. He's going inside. He's going to the boundary. He's putting his shoulder down and going to the 9.
I mean, you hear coaches always say exploding with the football or exploding with when you accelerate. But that's just, he personifies that. As soon as he gets the ball in his hand, it seems like he's reaching top speed almost immediately.
Obi Duru, so impressive so far in these first couple weeks, mostly in the special teams, last week in particular. But he gets outside the tackles. They call him the Flash for a reason. He's got some zip to him. Lakers snap the ball, but a quick whistle. Gonna switch things up as the referees will give us the verdict.
Yeah, my guess would be probably something on the Lakers since they blew it dead.
Now, instead, it's going to help the Lakers a little more. Lined up just a little offside for Southfield A&T, and that's going to advance the Lakers even further toward the Southfield end zone and give them a 1st and goal.
The second time Southfield A&T has made a mistake like this and just got the Lakers that much closer to the goal line.
Laker football all season long, all across our TV and radio network, as well as on YouTube at Civic Center TV and Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Carver to Espy, handoff inside, gets to the 3, and he is wrapped up at the left hash. So we're going to see the first quarter tick to the end. West Bloomfield taking a commanding start, 14-0 lead after 1. It's the Lakers 14 and Southfield A&T 0. Once again, the Lakers not letting anything happen on the defensive side and making big plays on offense, Matt.
Yeah, really, the defense and special teams so far today, flying to the football and making plays and really just jumping down the throats of Southfield A&T when they make mistakes. And that is something so far that we've mentioned as keys for this Lakers team to be successful, and hopefully they can keep on building on that success.
5 consecutive quarters without allowing a single score for the West Bloomfield Lakers, looking to continue that trend as we move in to the second quarter. They still have the football. They're deep in Southfield A&T territory. After a penalty, the final play of the first quarter was a short scamper for Will Espy. They'll set up 2nd and goal for the Lakers as the Warriors make their way back onto the field. These short runs inside the 10 and certainly inside the 5 have been of high success rate for the Lakers. Will Espy with 2 touchdowns in those settings last week, and now he's lined up in the backfield with Joel Davis just outside, the tight end Jeremy Benson on the right side. Lined up as a secondary tight end, really more of a fullback. As we still await this second period to get whistled underway, I want to remind you, Laker football, always on Civic Center TV at 89.3 Lakes FM. Next week, state champs taking the ball game against Rochester Adams. Duru outside, spin cycle, and gets 6. Touchdown, WB to open quarter number 2.
At the Swiss Army knife that is the Lakers goal line offense strikes again. And it's really just such a dangerous run game for that reason. You have so many ball carriers that can make plays. You have Duru who can just flash with the football in his hands and make guys miss with his speed. And then you also have the power aspect of the offense.
After all the big plays that Obi Duru has made in the first 2 weeks of this season, finally gets his chance to put some points on the board just 5 seconds into the second period. It gives the Lakers a 20-0 lead as Bryce Coburn will come back out for the PAT in just a moment. I want to remind you that after each game, it's this week in Laker football early on, usually Monday afternoons. I'll talk to Zach Hilbers, and either a player or a coach. You'll get to know the Lakers. We'll review this game after it's all said and done and get ready for Rochester Adams. So stay tuned early on next week on civiccentertv.com/Lakersports, on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, and on YouTube at Civic Center TV. A penalty against the Lakers going to be enforced on the kickoff as they'll maintain those 6 points on the board, and we'll have still just a 20-yard PAT.
And, maybe celebrating a little bit too much on that touchdown right there. But like we said, this game means a little bit more to the players a lot of the times. Sometimes that leads to maybe a little bit excessive celebration by the referee standards.
That one is up and through for Bryce Coburn as we take another look at the scoring play for Obi Duru. Again, another great block. We talked about Joel Davis lining up outside the tight end Benson. He makes that key block, pushing the defensive end out of range as Duru spins to his left right around that block. Just a perfectly executed red zone play for the Lakers.
Yeah, but I think they may have flagged him for spinning the football right there, but that's just, I don't know. But huge job by the Lakers right there, capitalizing on another mistake by Southfield A&T. And if you're the defense right here, you're up 21-0, and now, if you're the defensive line, it's the fun part of the game. They're going to be passing the football. You get to pin your ears back and rush the passer.
There was a penalty on the touchdown for West Bloomfield that was going to be enforced on the kickoff. So it's already going to be a little less advantageous for the Lakers as they prepare to give the football to the Southfield A&T offense once again. But Bryce Coburn's got quite a leg on him. It's just his second varsity football game and his second football game ever, recruited to this team to be a kicker by Nick O'Shea, a legendary Laker kicker in his own right in recent years. Played on O'Shea's varsity golf team, super athletic kid. Able to pick up some new skills very quickly as he's had a lot of success in his first game and a quarter for West Bloomfield. Coburn, a deep kick inside the 15. It is dropped, and they're just going to have to go down on the football to maintain possession at the 7-yard line. All that could really be done on the recovery for Nasir McEwen.
Just a phenomenal kick, right? Back-to-back great kicks, honestly, because the level of skill needed to pull off that kick that they did last time. But right there, just booming it down the field. And in a scenario where if you're Southfield A&T, you're expecting to get the ball in tremendous field position, you're starting in the shadow of your own end zone.
And it's come up in recent years, kind of that variation West Bloomfield has in their kicking game. You see it a lot in high school football in Michigan at this rate. Sometimes you get that booming kickoff that goes inside the 20, make them return it, kick away from their key returner and one of their up men, still deeper down the field. And sometimes you get those short kicks where you're trying to get physical, make it tough to catch the ball, knock the ball loose like what happened on the last kickoff for West Bloomfield. As Southfield A&T takes the field. Now Tim Garr will be playing quarterback. He starts at the Wildcat. A quick handoff, runs into a blocker and goes nowhere. Right back to the line of scrimmage. Lucky result, all things considered. And that's nothing going for Kenny Brooks.
Yeah, almost a nightmare scenario. Having to make a one-handed grab. Tim Garr makes a phenomenal play right there just to even get the handoff off to the running back. And I don't know. If you're Southfield A&T, you may have to consider a change at center soon, the way that these snaps are coming off.
11:22 and ticking to go in the first half here at West Bloomfield High School. It is 21-0 in favor of the Lakers. The Southfield A&T has 2nd and 10 from their own 7-yard line. Another whistle before the play. It's going to change the setup of this one. We'll take a look from the officiating crew in just a moment of what's going on. A lot of changes already for Southfield A&T, wanting to maintain consistency and discipline. Got to get the right personnel out there. Keith McKenzie preaching, building the culture. He wants to see certain elements, physicality, improving your technical skills, which includes the discipline element. And he's not going to tolerate much else than that from his Young Warriors team. Also preaching development. He knows that this is a rebuild for this program, and they are putting the building blocks in place. A lot of good progress in week number 1. He was very proud of his team, all things considered, despite the 8-43 loss to East Kentwood. But 11 minutes from now is going to be a long discussion in the locker room before half number 2.
Oh, my.
They lose another snap. Deep in the end zone. Could it be another safety?
Oh, my God.
West Bloomfield rips it free. Southfield A&T comes up with it. It's a safety again. Benson and company put more points on the board.
Yeah, their 3rd quarterback in the backfield right there, and the same result, an errant snap, but almost a nightmare scenario with it being a touchdown. Still a safety. But right there, you're seeing why Peyton Manning booted it out of the end zone in the Super Bowl instead of trying to make a play. Because stuff like that could happen.
That gives the Lakers a 23-0 lead. Did you see Will Espy pleading near the sideline? Maybe to some of his teammates, some communication, could be to the officiating crew. And just a heads-up move at the end of that play for Jaden Ivey. One of the young up-and-coming players that Keith McKenzie thinks is going to have a bright future at Southfield A&T. A tough position for him, taking the snap, losing the football, trying to escape, not being able to do so, losing the football again, but still had the calmness to make a quick decision and the right decision. 2 points, a lot less severe than possibly 7. And now Southfield A&T, after the safety, going to have to free kick this one off to West Bloomfield, who could expand their lead even further with just 1 minute off the clock in this 2nd quarter.
You have to feel, like you said, you kind of have to feel for Ivy there. He has been phenomenal with the ball in his hands so far here today, but it's just this offense can't get anything going or find a way to get it to him, really.
We're just 13 minutes into this game in West Bloomfield. A commanding lead once again. They went into the half 28-0 in the lead last week and have a chance to surpass that not even halfway through the 2nd quarter. This is a short kickoff. It's returned. Here come the Lakers inside the 40 to the sideline. Oh, the time in the world. Bryce Tillman, touchdown, WB.
And again, it doesn't matter how many times we say it, you're almost going to be shocked by whoever does it next. Just an array of talent for the Lakers. No matter who touches the football, they could make a play. So even if you're trying to kick it away from the main returner, whoever you kick it to downfield might be able to burn you. But again, down the field, we talk about the veterans on this team. Khalik Robinson, right there at the end of the play, throwing the leading blocks and knocking guys on their butts to make sure his teammate gets in the end zone.
This is Bryce Chandler, man. He's one of the fastest players on this Lakers team is Bryce. 4.4 40-yard time. Had the top of the list in the sports in the D camp in May. Didn't even show his speed on that one. Just patient. Looking for the block, looking for the space at the sideline as LaRon Jones, the defensive coordinator, celebrates with Bryce Tillman. Maybe a little bit of a nod to another Laker great cornerback in Blaze Rowe with that Central Michigan cap on under his helmet. Coburn again splits the uprights and puts it through. We'll take another look at this return. Tillman, patient, tripped up, sticks to it, follows the block. Communication comes into play as you see Christian Banks make a key block. And that gave all the time and the space in the world for Tillman to get to pay dirt.
I mean, and again, this Lakers team is very selfless. Every player on this team is willing to throw the blocks needed. They're willing to put their body out there to make sure their teammate can make a play, get the first down, get a touchdown, whatever the team needs, and you love to see that.
And on top of that, spreading the wealth as well. We're seeing a number of names making the big plays for West Bloomfield tonight. It's unselfish football. It's well-executed technical football. And so far, without much of a blemish other than a few penalties and a little bit of emotions coming into play at that in this rivalry matchup, as West Bloomfield in this game so far in 2025 and the entirety of that 48 minutes a year ago, now 74 unanswered points against the Warriors.
And again, just think back. Lakers score that touchdown to go up 14-0. They pull off that kind of trick kickoff play, get the ball back, and ever since then, they have not taken their foot off the gas.
Southfield A&T yet to score on offense this entire season. And so far, a shutout by the Lakers once again against them in 2025. As another trip up on the kickoff return. This time they'll maintain the football at the 15-yard line as Aiden Sutton gets the kick return.
Yeah, and sometimes when it rains, it pours. Right there, just they bump into each other and nothing can come of that kickoff return right there.
That's a really good point, Matt, because sometimes you just get into unfortunate situations. Your luck isn't there. It plays a big role in any competition. You can have all the talent in the world. You can be the best prepared you've ever been. But if the luck isn't going your way, as we say that, and the penalty affects the Lakers and moves Southfield A&T forward, a little brush of luck there. It is a personal foul that advances Southfield A&T to now their 29-yard line. Luck plays a big role. You got to be able to take the luck that you get and make the most out of it. And when you're not getting the luck in your own favor, breathe and get through it. Right now, that's what Southfield A&T is looking to do. Change the fate of their team so far this game and get to the half as Gar takes the shotgun snap and moves up about 1, maybe 2 yards. They'll give him 2 on first down.
And really, like you mentioned, it's at this point for Southfield A&T, and it's just trying to find something to build on as you get to the second half. And really, at this point, something to build on going forward to this season, because at this point, the game's pretty much already gotten away from you.
Keith McKenzie and his offensive coordinator, Devon Bryant, taking a little bit of a Zach Hilber's Ken Rise approach, putting the playmakers in at quarterback, something you do maybe when you're not sure of what you got going or trying to mix things up. The Lakers have done it in the past, putting Donovan Edwards in at quarterback at times. A few years ago, it was Samaj Morgan after the Rick Nance injury.
Jeez.
Gar bobbles the snap. He's trying to escape, but it's not going to happen. The Lakers are going to get right there and swallow him up again, move him back to the 25.
I mean, it's getting to a point almost every other snap is errant. And I don't know what you do if you're Southfield A&T besides maybe make a change at center, but the Lakers right now have to be loving it because it's giving them a chance to do what defensive linemen love to do best, and that's hit the quarterback.
It has to bring up the question, too, is it the offensive line for Southfield A&T, or is it just this Lakers attack in that front 7 and really even in that front 4 on the defensive line? They're so tough. They're so technically sound. Offensive line entirely made up of seniors in their starting core. That also plays a factor, especially when you got a slew of players lining up at quarterback. Low snap. Wesley again gets the football, tries to throw it into the boundary, and it is broken up by Jeremiah Benson.
Jeremiah Benson just flying back there once again. Looked like he almost was in position to come down with the batted ball. And now, at that point, if he comes away with the pick six there, I don't know what you do if you're Southfield A&T. Falls incomplete, but already 3 and out once again.
Par for the course for this Warriors offense tonight, as this Lakers attack has been absolutely brutal. There you saw Jeremiah Benson get in on that pass attempt, break it up. No opportunities allowed. They're just getting tripped up left and right on the offensive side as the Lakers tracking down every rushing play and batting down every possible opportunity in the throwing game. From the 15-yard line, a booming punt goes right about to the 50-yard line. A little bit shy. At the 49, it'll go out of bounds, and that's where West Bloomfield will take over with 8:40 to go in the first half.
Yeah, and really, you can't ask for a better way to start the season if you're the Lakers. In position right here to, if they score a touchdown, they'll be starting the second half with a running clock. And I can't really think the last time I saw 2 consecutive games with the mercy rule.
Quite a long time it has been for West Bloomfield. You think back to the championship era, both the championship year and the COVID season, and each of the seasons before and after that, where they had some of the most difficult defenses to break through in the entire state. They had a consecutive shutout streak that lit everybody's offensive game plan up. Now the chance to continue that trend in 2025. A whistle before the snap as Southfield A&T wants to talk this thing over. We got a lot to talk over on the Splash Live each and every weekday on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Not only do we have the latest in Lakers sports, both football and every other sport at West Bloomfield High School and across the greater West Bloomfield area. We'll talk to other newsmakers from across the community. This week, Lieutenant Patrick Donovan from the West Bloomfield Fire Department, just a little bit north of Laker Stadium, came on the show to preview their fire department open house. It'll be the final one at Fire Station number 1 as it currently stands, as they prepare to undergo some major renovations, something to celebrate on tropical night for the swamp at West Bloomfield High School. And they are living that vacation lifestyle up 30-0, just under halfway through the second period tonight on the first Friday night game under the lights at West Bloomfield High School in 2025. Southfield A&T retakes the field on the defensive side following the timeout, wanting to talk things over. Carver will go under center with Will Espy in the backfield, and Joel Davis and Cam Hall split out in bunch to the opposing sides. Hall in motion. Carver toss to Cam Hall, gets inside, strikes forward to the 40 and down to about the 38. The ball comes loose. Southfield A&T liking what they're seeing. Lakers going to maintain that possession, however. But finally, something to key in on for Southfield A&T defensively. They get their break as it's a huge hit for Tim Garr. Knocks that puppy loose. It does go forward after that for West Bloomfield. The luck not entirely in the Warriors' favor there as it sets up short yardage to gain for West Bloomfield, but a really nice executed play on the tackle for Timothy Garr, the senior.
Good job of following the play by Will Thornton, too, putting himself in position to fall right on that football.
Carver out of the shotgun this time, looking, getting chased, tripped up and goes down. The pursuit was coming in close. It would have possibly been a sack if not for an excellent block on the outside, and Carver tries to step up in the pocket and just lost his footing. And a penalty on top of that. It rains and it pours for West Bloomfield, setting them back from short yardage to moderate as we approach 4 minutes off the clock so far in quarter number 2.
Yeah, it almost looked like Carver nearly sidestepped that sack right there, but just got clipped up at the end. But unfortunately, it wouldn't have mattered either way with the hold call.
If the Lakers make their way into the end zone, the mercy rule will go into effect. 3rd and 7 with 7:50 to go in the half, up 30-0 on Southfield A&T with 2 split out to the right. Whistle before the play once again. And West Bloomfield going to continue to move that backward. It'll be 3rd and 12 after yet another penalty. This time the Lakers taking their sweet time, and it's a little bit too much sweet time. Got to eat your vegetables before the sweets to set up 3rd and long. This time it'll be Jamal Shakespeare out of the shotgun. With Davis, the fullback, and Duro in motion. Shakespeare, quarterback draw. He jukes outside, he jukes inside to the 40 and back up to about the 37 at the left sideline.
See, that's the thing about Jamal Shakespeare. Even if it's a 3rd and 12, you have confidence in him to just take a play like that and potentially even pick up the first down, but for sure make it a very manageable situation to where you can go for it if you want.
At the quarterback position, you think of Shakespeare, you think of a comparison to Rick Nance. Similar build, very similar skill sets. Jamal Shakespeare has the quarterback vision, but he's also got the knowledge of being a safety to read these defenses and make plays, whether he's taking the ball or delivering it. 4th down play, Carver's going to hand it off to Espy. Nothing really doing. It'll be a turnover on downs, and Southfield A&T for the first time tonight successful on the defensive side.
Yeah, really a great stop right there for Southfield A&T and something to really build off of for their defense. And again, setting their offense up with good field position and putting them in a place to where they can maybe build something.
And Torian Davis ultimately the man to shut that one down on 4th and long for West Bloomfield. Davis for Southfield A&T, the junior, somebody that head coach Keith McKenzie had a lot of praises for. He looked at him and said, look, he adjusts super well. He's incredibly coachable. And he's one of those guys that's going to take advice and run with it immediately. Last week, had an okay first half, not exactly what Coach McKenzie and his brother, the defensive coordinator Kyle McKenzie, wanted to see out of number 7. But bounced back, had a really nice second half. They have a lot of nice things to say about Torian Davis, and he showed it there, getting to the ball carrier and making a play.
Game ball. Delay game. On the offense, number 12. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And as we see, West Bloomfield ran out of time on their offensive drive just a moment ago. Southfield A&T doing the same on 1st down. No play clock visible at Lakers Stadium. That plays a factor. Got to keep your own time. 1st and long. It's going to be a handoff to Nasir McHugh, and he loses his helmet. It doesn't get anything in the yardage department either. Going to have to step off of the field on a physical play on 1st down.
Yeah, I mean, just flying up right there. Amon Lewis somehow not a fake, does it without grabbing the face mask, rips off his helmet, making the tackle.
So 2nd and long for Southfield A&T as they make a substitution at the running back position. Vincent Wesley coming back out at the quarterback once again. Had a couple of series off, put different playmakers in at the position. Didn't quite work out for Southfield A&T, but gave them time to talk things over with their junior quarterback. Coming into the first string this particular game. Handoff, it is bobbled, it is dropped, it is up for grabs. Southfield A&T does end up having it. And after a scrum, they will move forward ever so slightly.
Yeah, and it just keeps on being mistake after mistake. They're able to recover this fumble, but for some reason, this Southfield A&T offense can't get any traction going.
Trying absolutely their best to find some saving grace on offense. At the commencement of these plays, they're having a lot of issues getting the football to whomever is playing quarterback. And even so, on that particular play, it was delivering that football to a running back. Delivery of the football in short range, hampering Southfield A&T as it's going to be 3rd down, about 9. Wesley, there goes the pocket. He's going to have to roll out to his left toward the sideline. He's going to get close to the 1st down, jumps across the line to gain as he goes out of bounds. We will see the marking. They will give them the first down.
Yeah, and really just a phenomenal job right there by Vincent Wesley to escape right there and make something of that. And really one of the few good plays for this offense today.
5 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first half. A commanding lead again for West Bloomfield as we approach the break, up 30-0 on the rivals Southfield A&T. As you see, Wesley talking things over with offensive coordinator Devon Bryant in his first season. And before we continue play, Southfield A&T gonna move backwards once again, almost back to the original line of scrimmage. And that a devastating penalty as they had the line to gain. So now 3rd and 10 for Southfield A&T at their 29-yard line. Wesley out of the shotgun, direct snap. And a couple yards forward, back to the original line of scrimmage, and then maybe another yard for Timothy Garr.
Another flag down on the play right there too. So hopefully, if you're the Lakers, you're hoping it's nothing on you, because a face mask here would mean a first down for Southfield A&T.
Momentum so important in high school football. West Bloomfield able to attack defensively and have the momentum take a huge swing their way. Southfield A&T making a few plays of late, shutting down a Laker drive and forcing a turnover on downs. And then the pendulum swinging right back in Laker favor. We'll hear the call.
Got a dead ball, personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 17. 15 yards from the end of the run. Be 4th down and 2.
And that, as we talk about the pendulum swinging back and forth, a penalty set Southfield A&T from moving the chains to being back to 3rd and 10. Now, a West Bloomfield penalty moves it from 4th and long to 4th and 2, and Southfield A&T will keep it right here. Wesley with Garr in the backfield, a handoff right up the gut. Garr gets the first down and gets to the 50. A Laker penalty leads to a Laker mistake as Southfield A&T will move the chains right to midfield. Garr, shifty, gets through a couple of close range blocks and makes a play. That's a veteran move for the senior, who had 829 yards on the ground in 2024 and 7 touchdowns for Southfield A&T. With 4:14 and ticking to go in the half, down 30-0. It's 1st and 10 for Southfield. They'll hand it off outside the tackles, tripped up and going nowhere. McEwen wrapped up by Jamar Bray and trips his way to the ground, back at around the 45-yard line.
Yeah, just a phenomenal job right there by Jamar Ray to get in the backfield and just do anything you can to disrupt the ball carrier. Trips him up, gets the tackle for loss right there.
3:45 and ticking to go in the half. Southfield able to finally get themselves moving forward toward positive territory, and then West Bloomfield, just as Southfield got a little bit to cheer for. Offensively, West Bloomfield's defensive front hits back twice as hard. 2nd down and 15 off of the 5-yard loss on 1st down. A handoff outside the tackles for Southfield A&T, back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's where the Lakers shut it all the way down as Jaden Ivey gets the pigskin.
Yeah, we talked about how Ivey has flashed with the ball in his hands here tonight. Right here, they're able to get the ball to him for one of the few times they have tonight. The Lakers do a good job of winning the line of scrimmage, setting the edge, and not giving him the opportunity to break that run off.
The Lakers took a 28-0 lead into the break last week against the visiting Tractors from Dearborn Fordson out of the KLAA East. Southfield A&T trailing 30-0 with about 2.5 to play in the half. The only team without a win so far this season in the OAA White. It'll be 3rd down and 15 for the Warriors. Wesley looking to the sideline, looking long, and just a little too much outside of the reach, and a flag on the play as that was intended for Arturo Martin.
I mean, I need to see if that's just on like illegal contact, or that ball is about 20 yards out of bounds.
As much as you like what you're seeing from the Laker faithful side of things tonight, even with a 30-point lead, an ugly first half.
Personal foul. Pass interference on the defense, number 1. 15 yards from the previous spot. Results in first down.
Once again, defensive penalties playing to the favor of Southfield A&T. That time, a pass going nowhere with good pressure toward the sideline intended for Arturo Martin. Would have absolutely have been incomplete, and a pass interference from Khalik Robinson moves Southfield into plus territory and gives them a fresh set of downs. On the left hash at the 39-yard line with 2 split out tight in the boundary. And some action at the line of scrimmage. The question is, was it the Lakers or was it Arturo Martin to jump first? Pretty even from my vantage point up here in the booth, Matt, but either way, penalties affecting 2 consecutive plays.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense, number 75. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
And back-to-back penalties on the Laker defense. This is their bread and butter, a veteran defense, especially up front. Not what you like to see after otherwise a pretty impressive first half for West Bloomfield at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they've really limited their mistakes so far, but right there, back-to-back plays, 2 crucial mistakes.
2:12 to go in the half, 30-0 West Bloomfield lead. Handoff to Tim Garr, trying to shift inside. We'll get a few up to about the 32-yard line of the Lakers.
Yeah, and 3 Lakers bringing them down right there. And right now, if you're Southfield A&T, you have to be thinking about how you need to capitalize on these West Bloomfield mistakes.
As the sun makes its way trying to set tonight, a beautiful night for football at West Bloomfield High School. As it was last week after the rain flowed through, today a dry, breezy day. As you get a look at Lakers Stadium, fans making their way to the concession stands as we have about 90 seconds until we reach the break. But before we get there, at the 32-yard line of West Bloomfield, here are the Southfield A&T Warriors on 2nd down. McEwen up the gut. A gap on the left side will get to the 30-yard line and close to the line to gain. They're going to give it to him. Move the chains forward. Reached just beyond the line to gain at the termination of that play. They're going to give him forward progress as cornucopia of Lakers meets some offensive linemen for a little bit of a battle, but got where he had to go. As we take a look at the officials again. A&T wanting to take and stop the clock. They got an opportunity to make an offensive play and score for the first time this season. With 1 minute and 12 seconds to go in the half, Matt. And look, luck swings your way, gives you opportunities. And where there haven't been defensive penalties for the Lakers on this particular drive, Southfield A&T able to inch their way forward in the running game, getting some traction on this Laker defense that has been very tough to move forward on at all in the first nearly 48 minutes to 24 minutes of this ball game.
Yeah, this has to feel like a must-score drive if you're Southfield A&T. Down 30-0, have to think maybe, score a touchdown here, you have at least some chance in the second half.
71 minutes into the season, the Lakers yet to allow a score. Can Southfield be the first to do it with 1st and 10 at the Laker 30? Wesley rolling around the pocket, looks to his left. A diving catch is made at the 25-yard line. The Southfield A&T continues as Keith McKenzie Jr. pulls that one in.
A group of Lakers just getting back there immediately. Looked like Joel Evans and Isaiah Gray were the 2 closest to the passer, but able to get that ball away. Keep the drive going.
2nd and 5, running clock, 45 seconds to go in the half. for Vincent Wesley, the junior. Gets a little bit of a pocket, looks to his right. It is low and out of reach, intended for Jaden Ivey and incomplete.
And the last pass a little inaccurate. That's why you saw him have to kind of fall down even though there's no one by him. That one a little low and too far away for him to get it. But, that's another aspect of this Lakers defensive line is how they affect throws by the pressure they put on the passer even when they're not hitting them.
With the incompletion stopping the clock, Southfield A&T has 37 seconds left in this first half. They have 5 yards to go to move the chains, and they have 2 reps to do it. Wesley continues in at quarterback. Had a nice little drive here for Southfield A&T. 2 split out to the strong side right. Instead, a handoff, and right away, there come the Lakers. In the backfield, Ezekiel Davis stops the Kenneth Brooks run.
And now putting them in a really tough position here on 4th down where you almost certainly have to pass it because it's so far away from the yard to gain. But that's the Lakers' defense biggest strength is their passing defense.
Timeout stops the clock again as it'll be 4th and about 6 yards for Southfield A&T. That rush by Kenneth Brooks going backwards. We'll have a lot to discuss on the Laker halftime show, and Coach Hilbers and I will have a lot to discuss early on next week on This Week in Laker Football. We'll review this game against Southfield A&T. We'll get to know some of the players and the coaches making an impact every week out here on the gridiron, and we'll preview a big OAA Red opener next week right here at Laker Stadium when Rochester Adams and the Veer offense come a-knocking at the Swamp. We'll resume play with 25 seconds to go in the half. Lakers up 30-0. Southfield on 4th down. Jamar Bray approaching, bobbled on the throw. As the Lakers get into it, it is incomplete. Breaking that up is Isaiah Gray. Had a penalty earlier on in this drive, and there makes up for it on a short pass. Gets involved, knocks it away. It ended up ultimately still getting into the hands of Justin Porter, the intended receiver. But a turnover on downs, and West Bloomfield will take over with 7 seconds left in the half.
See, one way that I've seen teams with a lot of depth at pass rusher and defensive line described as it's kind of like ocean waves because they just keep on crashing into you, and that's really how to describe this Lakers defensive front. They have so many pieces and guys that can get into the backfield and get after the quarterback that seemingly who's ever out there is going to be able to be at 100% because they can just rotate these guys in and out.
The Lakers will come in with 7 seconds left in the half, up 30-0. That is 58 consecutive first half points unanswered for West Bloomfield coming into 2025. Barring any miracle in the Warriors' favor here on 1st down. As the whistle stops play again, the officiating crew going to talk things over. Right about the 15-yard line. Take a look at this Lakers offensive line. The centerpiece there on the left side being Travis Robertson, the Bowling Green State-bound Laker in the 73. Travis committed to Bowling Green back in June, a 3.0 GPA, and a lot of promise on the gridiron for Eddie George and company. George in his first season at the helm, a NFL legend, longtime Tennessee Titan running back. Going to have a hell of an offensive lineman coming his way in 26. Carver on 1st down, screen pass left to Jamal Shakespeare. Up to the 30, to 35, to the 40. And down to about the 42-yard line with about 13 seconds to go in half as we adjust the clock.
Seeing where that play can get scary for opposing teams is last week we saw them even try and do these plays where do a quick pass to Shakespeare behind the line of scrimmage. Given his passing ability, he can throw it himself again. And I can't wait to just see how plays like that develop and evolve for this Lakers team throughout the year.
West Bloomfield takes the timeout to stop the clock. Continuing to want to get those reps. It's still a young offense, as impressive as they've been tonight, Matt, as well as they executed their game plan in week number 1. in their 37-0 victory over Dearborn Fordson. They're still just returning 4 starters. They got a first-year varsity quarterback in Jackson Carver taking the majority of the reps. So a sort of a rebuild, so to speak, for both of these teams. Southfield A&T essentially resetting their roster in 2024 after the Division I championship game in 2023. And West Bloomfield growing a young nucleus in this Laker football program that has become a juggernaut over the past 15 or so years, beginning, of course, with Ron Bellamy's tenure at the helm. Carver, another screen to Jamal Shakespeare, looking for the sideline, fighting for the sideline. Southfield A&T not going to allow it.
And I'm guessing after he took a hit like that, they're just going to let it run to the half.
Shakespeare getting tripped up, getting hit, getting tackled, everything on the menu for the Warriors wanting to finish strong. That's what they do. And at the break, it's West Bloomfield 30. It's Southfield A&T 0. Laker halftime show coming up on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Laker halftime show after another exciting first half at Laker Stadium. You're looking at the West Bloomfield Marching Band to provide some celebratory tunes on Tropical Night at WB. West Bloomfield 30, Southfield A&T 0 at the half. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Matt Catoni. And Matt, another exciting first half for the Lakers offensively. But really, if you look at the scoreboard, you think about the points, but you don't think about the true all-stars, which has been this Laker defense in the first 24 tonight.
Yeah, really, these past 6 quarters of football for the Lakers defense has been about as perfect as you can imagine. Their front 7 has pretty much lived in the backfield and set the tone these first 2 weeks. And that's something next week that you're going to need to see going against one of the best running offenses in the state year in and year out.
Yeah, Rochester Adams is coming to town next week against West Bloomfield. That's a big game every year, something that is circled on everybody's calendar. It's such a big game, in fact, that State Champs is making it their game of the week, airing, of course, on their network as well as on Local 4 Plus, provided by WDIV. So that's going to be where you'll get your broadcast next week for the Lakers football game, as everyone looks toward the OAA Red, Matt, as one of the toughest divisions to win and one of the best divisions for setting up deep playoff runs in the entire state of Michigan.
Yeah, one way of looking at it is it's almost kind of like the Big Ten of Michigan high school football. It's when you look at the playoffs, when you see some of the higher ranked teams in the state, you're going to see a lot of teams from the OAA Red, similar to how you see a lot of Big Ten teams in the playoffs. If you put yourself in the position to win the OAA Red and are among the best in the OAA Red, you're going to be right in position to win the state title.
And a kind of similar storyline for Rochester Adams in their matchup this week, going up against their crosstown rival in Rochester, a team that they've shut out in 2 consecutive seasons. West Bloomfield looking to do that against Southfield A&T tonight, as the Highlanders look to do that to their rivals in Rochester for a 3rd consecutive season. That just tells you how much building a program can have an impact on your football team each and every year. Tony Petrito has been doing this for over 20 years at Rochester Adams, and even when they lose a lot of their senior prolific players, even when they have a quarterback coming off an injury and you expect them to take a step back, that step back is still in the top 15, 20, 30 teams in the entire state.
Yeah, that's really what's been so impressive about what Coach Hilbers has been able to accomplish so far in his tenure here at West Bloomfield, is how he's been able to maintain and keep that culture going for West Bloomfield.
Zach Hilbers, a longtime assistant coach at West Bloomfield High School, spent 17 years as an assistant, including as their quarterbacks coach at one point. He's a graduate of West Bloomfield High School, played in this program, knows the history, having graduated from WB in 2003, and had a chance to learn under Ron Bellamy how to develop a program from the ground up. That helps you when you get to some of those reset points, as you saw in the latter year of Tyrese Grice's brief tenure as head coach after being their defensive coordinator during the championship season. And now Zach Hilbers gets to do that. Last year, a little bit of a step back, so to speak, for the Lakers, a playoff appearance, a playoff victory, and a blowout at Novi High School, and then they lose to one of the best teams in all of Division I in Catholic Central in that second playoff game. That's bouncing back after a 10-3 season that saw the Lakers go to the state semifinal game and nearly win against these Southfield A&T Warriors. Now this year, a hot start for West Bloomfield, but what Zach Hilbers, what Ken Rise, what LeRon Jones have to do for West Bloomfield in that locker room is keep the momentum, maintain the discipline, and make sure West Bloomfield's understanding you got the 12 minutes ahead of you in this quarter, 48 minutes ahead of you in this particular game. And when this game's over, you got a really tough 48 minutes ahead against Rochester Adams, especially considering tonight the biggest blemish for West Bloomfield again has been those penalties.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Coach Hilbers really preaches is short-term memory and not really holding on to those highs. You know, yeah, you made a great play the play before. Okay, well, you know what? What about the next play? Yeah, we just won by so-and-so X amount of points. Okay, but now we have, as you mentioned, this next game against Rochester Adams. You can't live in those moments too long. Otherwise, it jeopardizes the future.
Right now, plentitude of games going on across the OAA Red. We'll take a little bit of a look at some of these scores. 21-0, Clarkston leading Harper Woods in a top 15 matchup. Clarkston ranked number 5 by the D-Zone coming into this week after their impressive Week 1 win, and Harper Woods ranked number 12. Two OAA teams in their own right, another crossover having big implications in our league. Clarkston, another one of those teams that you're kind of expecting in 2025 to have a big run and be one of the big dogs in the OAA Red Division and in the entire state of Michigan. West Bloomfield up there as well. Of course, you always had the Lake Orients and Oxford even looking like they're going to take a bit of a step back in 2025. Lost a lot of upperclassmen graduating last season. Zach Lyon, their head coach, departing before this particular season. But they had a lot to be looking at positively after week number 1, which is why you look at this game, Matt, as that last little almost preseason environment. And that's not as an insult to anything that Southfield A&T is doing. I'm talking about just it being the opportunity to prepare your depth chart in its entirety for the gauntlet that is the OAA Red Division schedule.
Yeah, and with this game having so many feelings attached to it, it is a very good tune-up for those OAA games. But with how this team has been able to control the trenches, that has to make you feel very good about where the Lakers stand going into these OAA Red games because of how teams like Clarkston and Oxford run the football.
Combining music and athletics as we listen in briefly on the Laker Marching Band at West Bloomfield High School. They are practicing all summer long out in the parking lot on the gridiron out here in the swamp, getting ready for their competition season, which is the fall. And of course, these Friday nights under the light, adding some ambiance to this here gridiron in front of you on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Let's give you about 30 seconds, perhaps, of their top-notch performance. A lot of skill on display for the Laker marching band as they perform at halftime. After quite an entertaining performance for the Lakers offensively, putting up 30 points in the first half, defensively making a whole lot of plays, breaking up opportunities for Southfield A&T, ripping the football loose, including a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, a kickoff return that ultimately went back to WB in some close quarters competition. Matt, we're seeing a lot of different skill sets arise for West Bloomfield, and with a younger roster this year, you'd expect them to take a step back. But even those guys that are coming up from JV or are getting their first starting opportunity or majority reps opportunity, you're seeing them make the most of those opportunities, much like the marching band is making the most of their opportunity to practice for their competition each and every halftime throughout the season.
And really, how these young guys have been able to perform and kind of step in seamlessly is a testament to the leadership of the veteran players on this team, like Khalik Robinson and Jamal Shakespeare and Jeremiah Benson, and how they've kind of helped these younger guys acclimate themselves into the team and put themselves in a position to not just contribute, but thrive thus far.
Around the OAA, gave you an update that Clarkson had a 21-0 lead in the second period against Harper Woods. That's reached the half of a 21-13 matchup between those top 15 teams. Getting closer as the game goes on. Harper Woods bouncing back toward halftime. Different story for the number 38 Lake Orion Dragons. 0-1 coming into tonight. And they are looking on the doorstep of 0-2 as Rochester Hills Stony Creek leading 19-7 as the third quarter just underway. That scoring update from our friends over at the D-Zone. Lake Orion, a rocky start in their own right, and Stony Creek, one of those teams that many expected to have a bounce-back year, a big push forward as they continue their competitive rebuild in the OAA.
And really, also one of the nicer fields in the entire state, Stony Creek. Hopefully, they get their chance to have a bounce-back year and host a playoff game.
Yeah, we went there a few years ago when Stony Creek was still in the red, and West Bloomfield went on the road. Great ambiance, but man, look at the ambiance at West Bloomfield High School. Tropical night, the student section dancing around, and you'd love that on a Friday night. It was the first time we get to see high school football under the lights at West Bloomfield on a Friday this season, and an electric environment for the Swamp.
Yeah, and what a way to welcome everyone to Friday nights at the Swamps, and then a 30-0 halftime lead. And really, the Lakers so far proving to be good or gracious hosts to their fans so far at home.
Themed nights all throughout the season for the Lakers and their student section, the Swamp, one of the loudest, one of the most rowdy, one of the most passionate in all of the state of Michigan. And they get to have those themed nights even more often in 2025. Last season, seldom had a home game. This season, the majority of their games at home. And for West Bloomfield, it's some of the most prolific on the schedule. Of course, we've talked a lot so far about Rochester Adams coming to town next week, but you got a couple weeks out, Birmingham Groves out of the blue. 2 weeks after that, October 10th, it is Clarkston, and then they finish the season against a familiar foe from last season when there was a 1-point game ending in a loss for West Bloomfield just before the playoffs against Roseville. They're going to come in on October 24th. So not only a lot of home games, but some really good home games for the Laker faithful in 2025.
Yeah, and we talk about, these out-of-conference games that you kind of use to measure yourself in the state. Roseville, at home this year to really see where you stand right before the playoffs, where you stand in the state once again.
West Bloomfield up 30-0 on Southfield A&T at the break. You got 24 minutes of football remaining. And West Bloomfield, their question defensively for fans, are they going to be allowing any points before we see Rochester Adams come to town next week? And perhaps maybe not allow any points for them either.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, they don't allow any points at all at home this year. But right now, with how this Lakers defensive front is playing, they inspire a lot of confidence going into next week.
And one of the players that is making that confidence so high for the Lakers, LaRon Jones and his defense, and Zach Hilbers at the head coaching position, is Jeremiah Benson. one of the most prolific defensive linemen in the entire state of Michigan, and one in a long line of Laker D linemen that are some of the biggest threats on the edge in the entire MHSAA. The heir apparent to Brandon Davis-Swain, the MHSAA's all-time leading career sacks leader in the state of Michigan, had 8 of those in 2024, did Jeremiah Benson. He's playing on both sides of the ball in 2025, much like his counterpart Will Espy at the 3rd level. And he's going to Minnesota next year. P.J. Fleck getting quite a heck of a prospect, a 3-star defensive lineman and tight end, and a quality leader in the locker room, also helping that Big Ten program catapult forward for the future.
Yeah, and one thing that just, screams it for itself when you watch Jeremiah Benson is his athleticism and explosiveness. When that ball is snapped, he is just exploding past tackles, and they have no chance of blocking him.
Yeah, he's been in on a lot of these tackles for loss tonight. He has been putting pressure on the quarterback more often than not. And he is off to a hot start in 2025. Not necessarily jumping off the stats page as he did at the beginning of 2024, but he's still making that same impact as we look at the night sky just a moment ago at West Bloomfield High School.
Yeah, and really that's one thing that sometimes it's tricky with defensive linemen. People get caught up in tackles and stats. But there's nothing more impactful to an offense than having to, assign 3 guys or 2 guys to block just one guy, or just the presence that a defensive lineman can have and the change and impact he can force on the game it's just indescribable at times.
And the chemistry element of that plays a big role too. We got 4 anchors for West Bloomfield on that defensive line. As you look at the Laker anchor bat signal, as I like to call it, on the north side of West Bloomfield High School tonight. Jeremiah Benson, a senior. Tank Pittman, a senior. They're both multi-year varsity starters. Joel Davis bumping up to the starting position this year, playing both sides of the ball. Had a forced fumble that ended in a touchdown last week for the Lakers, and Joel Evans on the opposite edge. One of the top 4 all-time discus record holders at West Bloomfield, number 2 on that list. That comes from a slew of former Laker defensive linemen and current linemen as well, including Travis Robertson, Jeremiah Benson, and Eddie Wilson, their former D-line coach, who played at the NFL level as well. A lot to be impressed with, as you saw the Lakers just a moment ago retake the field. We'll talk a little bit more about them. We'll preview half number 2 and talk about what we want to see from the Lakers in those final 24 minutes coming up. It's the Laker Halftime Show on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Looking for a score, a schedule, a story? MHSAA.com has you covered. Our newly redesigned website has everything you need to follow high school sports in Michigan. And it's optimized for mobile use. Fans can submit scores on a Friday night, check playoff pairings and game times, or read about the student athletes from your community. Your first stop is MHSAA.com. Connect with us online and get everything you need all in one place.
Today I'm going to tell you about sportsmanship because it's important. Treat your opponents the way you would want to be treated. My mom says that. Listen to the referees. It's their job. Be nice to their team and our team. Cheer them on. Always play fair. It's the right thing to do. It's sportsmanship. It's not that hard.
I'm Greg Flynn, the fire chief here in West Bloomfield. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on your 1 million views on YouTube. Together we share the message of community safety and preparedness, making West Bloomfield a safe and wonderful place to live. My name's Greg Flynn, and I'm proud to be 1 in a million.
Welcome back to Laker football on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. The Lakers all hyped up for half number 2 as they had a first half that built that hype up, and they deserved it. 30-0 at the break against the Warriors of Southfield A&T. Matt, an impressive first half, some penalty issues and some discipline issues definitely affected the Lakers as we approached the break. What are you looking for them to improve in half number 2?
Yeah, really, you're up 30-0 at this point. The only way Southfield A&T is going to get back into this game is if you get in your own way and beat yourself. That's the main thing that I'm looking for here. Protect the football. Don't really make any egregious mistakes, and don't allow Southfield A&T to get back in this football game.
It's been 72 minutes of football for Southfield A&T. They have yet to put a single point on the board on the offensive or defensive side this season. Just 8 points so far for them in the special teams front. A kickoff return to begin the season. The very first play last week at Southfield A&T against East Kentwood, and a 2-point conversion following that. And that's all that they've had so far. Other than that, they have been outscored so far this season 73-0. Looking to change that in half number 2, but first, their defense is going to have to come up with a stop as the Lakers kicked it off to start the game, and Southfield A&T will kick it off from the middle at the 40-yard line to start the final 24 minutes. It is a short squib kick. The hands team gets on top of it. The Lakers will start from their 40-yard line as Christian Banks recovers the kickoff.
Just like any of, the people out there on return for the Lakers, I'm sure he could have probably advanced that ball much further, but you already get it at the 40. There may be some daylight there for Banks, but he does the smart thing and just falls down.
That's something that the Lakers had practiced a lot for before week number 1. It's something that they always practice near the end of the week before these ball games.
First and 10 Lakers.
And practice making perfect there for Christian Banks and the hands team. Getting at the football, they do a lot of variable bounces with the ball too. They kick the ball differently from different ranges. Sometimes the coach is 5 yards or 10 yards away. Sometimes they set up like a regular kickoff and have their actual kicking team do that. Comes up well for the Lakers as they start at the 40. Carver under center. Handoff up the middle. It's going to be Davis. He's going to break free. Here comes the big fella. Davis on the run. One man to beat. Gets inside the 5, and he's almost there. Does he have it? They're going to mark him short. He stepped on the sideline at the 3. It was that close. A balance move for Joel Davis as he gets near pay dirt. Take another look at this puppy. What a block, Obi Duru.
And again, we talked about this, how these Lakers players love to just fly up and make blocks for their teammates. They don't even need to have the ball in their hands to make plays. Duru just flying upfield to make that block and make that run go even further.
Duru just shoving over Torian Davis. Sets up a Laker red zone front. Handoff, it's Davis again. Give him the buck. Give him the touchdown. He gets in. Touchdown, WB.
It almost looking like a similar recipe to last week's second half. They're tired. They're beat up. They're down 30 points. Let's beat them up a little bit more with Joel. And right there, he says, I want the running clock and the touchdown, and he gets it.
Last week, we compared him to Jerome Bettis, just this big back, athletic, powerful, good rushing sense. He may not be the bus, but he is a freight train for West Bloomfield, getting in for 6. The mercy rule now in effect, as West Bloomfield takes a 36-0 victory, and Bryce Coburn looking for the PAT. Coburn kicks it through, continues to be perfect, and the Lakers are up 37. Look at this again.
Bryce Coburn kick is good.
As Joel Davis gets inside of a block and gets into the end zone. After a huge 1st and 10 run, he takes the block from Mario Rocha and ends up getting 6 points. Davis, his 2nd touchdown on the season, his 1st on the ground. He had a 14-yard touchdown reception in week 1 in the 3rd quarter against Fordson. Once again, that 3rd frame showing lucky for 28.
And, what's kind of remarkable in it all is when he gets out there on defense, he's not just, a lot of running backs, a lot of the time play, kind of middle linebacker. He's getting after the passer. He's in there in the trenches. So whether it's on offense or defense, he's playing smash mouth football.
No days off, no plays off for 28. Joel Davis, an early rising star for West Bloomfield in 2025. The senior, 6'1", 215, built like a linebacker, but athletic enough to take the rock himself and take care of business as he did just 20 seconds in to the third quarter to put his Lakers up 37-0. Again, we got the mercy rule. Here are the ground rules. 35-point deficit or more makes a running clock except for a change of possession, an injury, a timeout. Otherwise, even an incomplete pass or a play that goes out of bounds won't stop the clock. As the announcer Jinx comes in, I mentioned out of bounds, that ball kicked out of bounds. Flag will go down, and it'll be more favorable field position for the Warriors on their first second half drive.
As they look to, get rid of the running clock right here, they'll start at the 40-yard line. And once again, for a struggling offense, this is about what you want. You want to be starting in as favorable field position as possible.
And after a rocky first half for Southfield A&T, that showed a little bit of hope, a little bit of promise, just that last little bit of brightness in the final minute of the half. Can they take that momentum into the final 24 minutes, make something happen, and finally break the seal on putting points on the board offensively in the 2025 season? Let's find out as they begin this drive from their 35-yard line. Out of the gun, handoff to Tim Garr. Outside the tackles, moves back inside toward the 40, fights forward, and a nice little gainer to start half number 2 for Timothy Garr.
Yeah, Garr has been able to get a little bit going in the run game these past 2 drives. And ideally, if you can keep these plays going with Garr, it'll open things up a little bit for Ivy.
Looked like his knee was near the ground at about the 40-yard line, sorry. But he also stuck to it, so they might give him a little bit more. They will mark him down right in between, just on the cusp of the 40-yard line to set up 2nd and 5 for Southfield A&T. One man in the backfield, one split out long to the left. And to the right with a man in motion. Handoff. It's going to be Jaden Ivey going right to left in the backfield. And boom! Here he goes. Down goes the rusher, and Bryce Tillman is the culprit.
Yeah, and that's one thing that these Lakers corners and defensive backs are phenomenal and exceptional at, is setting the edge. It doesn't matter how good your wide receivers are. They can't block them. If you have to get to the edge 9 times out of 10.
Look at Jackson Carver and Ray Von Perry taking a look at some plays on their screen down on the field. Little football education in between offensive series as the defense continues to take care of business. A 3rd and long for Southfield A&T at their 37-yard line. McEwen takes the rock in the backfield, going backwards, hit once, and is finished off by Kamari Pittman.
And that's someone else who does a lot of the dirty work for this defensive line. He takes up a lot of attention from those interior offensive linemen and makes the jobs for Jeremiah Benson, Isaiah Gray, Jamar Ray, any of these pass rushers so much easier.
Ezekiel Davis also in on that tackle, assists Tank Pittman in taking down the rusher and sets up 4th down for Southfield A&T. As they will once again punt this ball off to the West Bloomfield Lakers, who get their 2nd offensive opportunity this half. In less than 3 minutes as we take a look. Bryce Tillman back to make the return. Nice game for number 4 coming into tonight. A quiet first game against Fordson. Definitely making some noise in OAA cross-division play as we get ready for the OAA Red schedule to begin next week. Bryce Tillman and the Laker number 4. The defensive back for WB. Fast junior, 5'9", 150 pounds with a lot of promise coming up from that 2nd string a season ago.
And he flew with the ball in his hands earlier, so I'm assuming they will try and keep the ball away from him right here.
With 8:50 to go in the 3rd quarter, Southfield A&T punts this ball off. It'll bounce at the 45, back to the 40. And West Bloomfield no recovery. Just Kalik Robinson going the wrong way. Really slopes around the left side of the field, escapes at the 40, up toward the 50, makes something out of that down to the 48. and a little bit of extracurricular after the play.
And, he didn't even necessarily have to return that. There's not much there. But he runs about 15 yards backwards and takes it about 15 yards upfield, and you see Jamal Shakespeare throw a tremendous block right there.
It's been a physical game. It's definitely an emotional game every year between West Bloomfield and Southfield A&T.
Blindside hit block. Number 2 on the receiving team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
And that there explains the discussion after, the passionate discussion between West Bloomfield and Southfield A&T at the sideline as Shakespeare picks up the penalty and will set his offense back 15 yards to begin this drive. Let's take another look at that now.
Yeah, one man's blindside block is another man's good football play. Just where he doesn't even he stops moving when he throws that block. I think the flag probably should have been thrown later on. I don't think that one was necessarily on Shakespeare. But one of those plays, it cost you 15 yards, but it's hard to coach that intensity and motor out of a player, especially when it comes to throwing blocks.
Nonetheless, it sets West Bloomfield back 15. They'll begin this drive at their 21-yard line. Southfield A&T getting set up, the officiating crew. Adjusting the spot of the football. Moving it back even further.
They might have thrown 2 on that play by the looks of it.
And with that, West Bloomfield will instead begin at their 18-yard line. Carver under center. Man in motion around the left side. Another sweep for West Bloomfield. Taking the football is Rayvon Perry. He'll get up just past the 30-yard line, about the 32, before Torian Davis and a handful of Warriors get to the ball carrier.
And you see Mario Rocha right there put the linebacker on the dirt right there and just doing a phenomenal job of leading his way. And even though, you don't have Joel Davis in, kind of serving in as that fullback right now, more at a running back role, you still have another guy in Mario Rocha out there doing a phenomenal job as a lead blocker.
Another penalty has an impact on that play. It doesn't move the football all too much after the result of the first play, but nonetheless, still that penalty bug impacting West Bloomfield tonight. Man in motion, inside handoff for West Bloomfield. It's Joel Davis. He escapes a tackler, and then Southfield A&T sends everybody. That rush going nowhere for 28.
It looked like a flag down there on the play, and he's shrugging off tackles left and right. Yep, that's why he's not breaking that run loose. Southfield A&T getting a handful of the face mask. It looked like it was Tim Garr right there. Looks like it's going to be a first down for the Lakers now.
It has been a night full of penalties for both of these squads. For both West Bloomfield and Southfield A&T has had quite an impact. It definitely has a bit more of an impact on you when...
Personal foul, face mask, number 3 on the defense. 15-yard penalty results in the first down.
Definitely has a lot more of an impact on your team when you are down 37-0, which is the case for Southfield A&T at this present moment. You don't want to see it no matter what situation you may be in. Jackson Carver will be in the shotgun with one man in the backfield. Carver looking to his left. It is caught near the sideline. Median Bamberhool takes it up to just shy of the 35. Gain of about maybe 1 yard from where the ball was marked prior to the penalties on the previous play.
Had one of their few passes so far tonight, and one of those passes that Carver has kind of shown that he's very good at delivering those out routes or those short hitch routes. He gets the ball out there very quick and accurately.
6.5 to play in the third quarter. Running clock at West Bloomfield High School, with West Bloomfield up 37. Of course, the threshold for the mercy rule in the MHSAA is a 35-point or greater lead. Carver out of the shotgun, handoff up the middle. A gain of maybe about 1 yard for Dylan Woods, another big running back, 5'11", 185 out of the backfield.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the rotation of backs they go with here now. You know, that matchup with Rochester Adams next week has to be not just the back of your mind, but the forefront of your mind at this point if you're Hilbers. And you don't want any guys necessarily getting more beat up than they have to heading into that game.
About 5.5 to play in this period after a short rush. West Bloomfield will start this particular play from the 35-yard line approaching midfield. Carver will go under center, hand it off, sweep play outside to Obiduru. And he meets some traffic, goes backwards and out of bounds at the 30-yard line, led by the charge by Christian Smith.
Yeah, he breaks that first tackle, but he kind of realizes that there's nothing there, so he just protects himself and protects the football, and he's pushed out of bounds by Tim Garr, who blew that play up to begin with.
And now Southfield A&T's defense starting to turn on the Jets and make some plays. We have an injury timeout. So you look at this Lakers offensive front. Now they're starting to get guys down the depth chart involved in this one, Matt.
Yeah, really. It's going to be interesting to see who gets involved here.
We'll take a break. Laker football on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, this is Ken Graham, Director of the National Weather Service. Leaving a kid or a pet in a car can be deadly. In fact, every year, dozens of kids die of heat stroke in hot automobiles. Some are left there by caretakers, others get in there on their own, and they can't get back out. All of these deaths are preventable. Even on a relatively cool day or cloudy day, the temperature inside a car can quickly reach deadly temperatures in minutes. To keep your child or pet safe, set reminders, like a simple note on a dashboard, or put your phone or other belongings in the back seat. I always place my backpack in the back. Kids don't see the family car as dangerous, but in just 10 minutes, a hot vehicle can be fatal. Never leave a child unattended. Look before you lock.
A breath of fresh air will do you a world of good. Breathe in deep and let fresh renew your spirit in pure Michigan.
Mom.
We join this play live in process. A kick for West Bloomfield. The punt goes back to Southfield A&T. Will land about the 44-yard line as Jimmy Collins delivers the punt to the Warriors.
And, you know, the Lakers at this point, like we said, they're just going to try and do whatever they can to just keep this game flowing. They're not going to try anything pushing the ball downfield. They're just going to try and limit mistakes and make sure this game clock keeps moving.
4 minutes and ticking to go in the third quarter. No points on the board for the Lakers so far in the second half. That first half doing plenty of work, keeping a solid lead, 37-0, as Southfield A&T will take over the football at the 44-yard line on the right hash, going left to right across the field. Vincent Wesley, the junior backup quarterback on the depth chart, continuing to take the majority reps at quarterback after a brief intermission in the first half. We saw many of the skilled players take over the position. Two split out short to the right for the Warriors. A handoff to Nasir McEwen. He breaks free. He's shifting around, gets up to the opposite side near the 45. And finally, a party of Lakers gets involved and stops the rushing play.
Yeah, as this game's gone on, we've seen a little bit more success for the Southfield A&T rushing offense. Now it's just really a matter of can they get things going with their wide receivers in the passing game.
A near 15-yard rush for Southfield A&T gets them into plus territory. As West Bloomfield, a commanding lead in their OAA crossover game against Southfield A&T. An update, number 5 Clarkston on upset alert. Harper Woods late in the third quarter up 27-21. Be first down and 10 for Southfield A&T at the Laker 46-yard line. One split out wide to the left for Southfield A&T and two to the right for Wesley. Low snap, got a pocket. Now he's looking long. Wesley deep in the Laker territory. It is broken up. Almost was showtime for Bryce Chandler with a pick in his hands. Instead of PBU for the defensive back.
Yeah, it was a really good job by number 14, Fred Morris, of just kind of playing defense in a way and disrupting it enough to make sure that pass didn't get picked off.
Bryce Chandler, a two-sport athlete, also plays basketball at West Bloomfield High School. And a star in his own right on the hardwood. Visited Miami, Ohio, and Cincinnati back in April during basketball season. Pretty smart kid as well, 3.5 grade point average, as he is in his junior year at West Bloomfield High School. Making a big play on first down for Southfield A&T. With the pass breakup. Now here's Wesley. He's gonna toss it inside and he gets rocked. That ball tossed to Paris Wells, and Jamar Bray said, "This is my big play."
Yeah, he has had a phenomenal game so far tonight, and he has been just shrugging right past the tackles, and right there delivers a shoulder right to the chest of the ball carrier, and exactly what they teach right there, and getting a tackle for loss.
And because of the result of that play, able to step over the ball carrier as well for a little extra emphasis. A big play for Bray, who's been in on a lot of assists on the defensive side in these first 2 weeks, getting his first big moment for the Lakers. As we now are under a minute left in the third quarter, with West Bloomfield up 37-0. Southfield A&T at the Laker 35-yard line. Wells in motion, and the snap is dropped out of the gun for Wesley, and we move them back to the 46-yard line. Again, a fumbled snap and a loss of 5 for Southfield A&T.
And just a really tough night for Southfield A&T's center, Omari Bland. And just, I don't know what you do going forward with your Southfield A&T, aside from really just making a change at the position.
Warriors looking off to the sideline, getting a play call as Wesley's talking it over with Coach McKenzie, Coach Bryant, and their staff, as we see the clock wind down the final seconds in the third period. After 3, it's West Bloomfield 37, Southfield A&T 0. It's Laker football on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Through 36 minutes of football, West Bloomfield with 37 points, and the rivals at Southfield A&T out of the OAA White with 0. Welcome back to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Tyler Keefe alongside Matt Gattoni as we start the fourth quarter with a long throw down to the 20-yard line. A diving attempt broken up by West Bloomfield as Obi Duru's on the stop. And once again, laundry night continues at Laker Stadium.
And it looks like it's going to be because of the thumbs down. Like we mentioned before, the previous play, how he fell, that would have been fine for him, how he stepped over him. But once he did the celebration and the thumbs down over his head, that's when you know the flag's going to come in.
And that's where you get a coaching moment, too, off on the sidelines. You're up 37-0. Got to maintain your composure, especially as an upperclassman. May not affect you in this game, but it will.
On the defense, number 3, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
But those moments will have a heavy effect on the results of these ball games as we head into the OAA Red Division season. They're setting Southfield A&T forward 15 yards and just shy of the West Bloomfield 25-yard line. And all of that, just one play into the fourth quarter. Now Southfield A&T, their best field position collectively of the entire evening, as they are continuing to fight for those first points outside of their special teams front in their 2025 season.
And really, that's the type of mistake that as a coach you can't live with, because it's not in the heat of the moment. It's not trying to make a play happen. It's a taunting call at the end of the day.
McEwen lined up at running back for Southfield A&T. 2 split out to the left, including Paris Wells, the junior, in the slot, and Jaden Ivey wide. Wesley with a collapsing pocket, looking to the end zone, looking long, and it's caught by the Lakers. Picked off in the end zone. It's going back in the other direction, and this time he completes the process. Bryce Chandler with his first pick of the season.
Yeah, a phenomenal job of high-pointing that football for Chandler. He just read that perfectly from the safety position and just cut the ball off before the receiver could even make a play on it.
And his teammates all celebrating with him. He had an opportunity earlier on in the third quarter on the other side of the field. It was in his hands, a leaping grab, and he just missed it. It bounced off his fingertips and became an incomplete pass and a pass breakup. That time, he pulls it into his chest, and he catches it in the end zone. Something every player wants to do out on this 120-yard field is catch a ball in the end zone. And on the defensive side, with a charging offense approaching your red zone, a whole lot of attaboys for Bryce Chandler.
It looked like Jamar Ray was coming in on the blitz right there, too, on the stunt, unblocked, and it looked like it may have rushed the throw a little bit.
Double coverage with Zach Jones, the sophomore, also out there in the end zone on that play. The first offensive play for the Lakers with just about 11 minutes to go in the game. Goes absolutely nowhere.
And Mafucci's in at quarterback, so you know that's how you know something is going tremendous for the Lakers or horribly wrong, but in this case, tremendous. The backup quarterback's in, getting reps, especially this early. Hopefully now the Lakers can pick up a few first downs and keep this clock moving.
Rushing touchdowns tonight for Cameron Hall, Jamal Shakespeare, Obi Duru, as well as for Joel Davis. And other than that, game management for the quarterbacks as Mafucci throws it into the boundary to the right to medium Bamaru.
Yeah, good, accurate ball for Mafucci right there, just getting it to where his receiver can catch it and just make a play. Not even really getting a good grip on the laces right there, just getting it and ripping it right away. A good throw right there by Mafucci.
And Bam is a tough kid, two-sport athlete. He's a wrestler. You love having a wrestler on your football team because they're not afraid to take contact. They're not afraid to initiate contact. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to see that from the junior wide receiver at another point. A leaping grab, didn't have a chance to meet that Southfield A&T defender and fight for some action. Mafucci out of the shotgun with 2 split out to his left side and 2 in the backfield. Handoff right up the gut. Gets a break, gets a couple of yards. Then forward progress going to be stopped by Southfield A&T.
Yeah, it doesn't get to the line of gain, but again, the Lakers, their main prerogative right now is just to not turn the ball over, hold on to the football, and just 3 runs and a kick if you have to.
Running clock aids that for sure if you're West Bloomfield. And it gives you opportunities too. A 37-0 lead, that's a lot of cushion. You got your number 2s in the game, your number 3s in the game. In the case of Nathan Mafucci, the 3rd-string quarterback, the junior. Gives them opportunities to get reps. Those are really important, especially varsity reps, especially against 1st and or 2nd-string players for another team. Come playoff time, come some more competitive games that will have an impact as Southfield A&T jumps West Bloomfield, going with a hard count.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
And there's one of those teaching moments. You go out there with the objective of running a play with a hard count and trying to get Southfield A&T to jump so you can continue this offensive drive. And for Nathan Mafucci and this Laker offensive front, they can check that one off the list.
Yeah, it looked like they were getting ready to send some pressure at Mafucci. Maybe a little bit too eager right there, jumping off sides.
1st and 10 for the Lakers at Southfield A&T's 33-yard line with 8 minutes and ticking to go in this contest. Handoff in the backfield, Almost wrapped up for a loss, gets back to the line of scrimmage and a couple, and then slides out of bounds. Keegan Hickey, the ball carrier.
Yeah, nice hit right there by Kenneth Brooks at the end right there. But an even better job right there by Keegan Hickey to break a tackle and make something out of that play, gaining about 3 or 4 yards.
And look, he lost his footing, but you might as well go for a slide if you're running full speed toward that brand new, beautiful Laker baseball field off to the east side. Second down, about 6 yards for West Bloomfield with 7:25 to go in this contest, up 37-0, moving left to right across Laker Stadium. Mafucci, another handoff to Hickey, gets up to the 40 and sets up a 3rd and short.
Hickey so far these first 2 games, when he's gotten his carries, he has done a tremendous job of just taking what the defense is giving him and getting a solid 3-4 chunk run right there to make this a 3rd and manageable.
And it's great he's getting some action too. He's listed as one of their number two running backs. Kind of a competition, and with Joel Davis just having a breakout first couple of games, Hickey not getting those reps as much with the ones. Making his mark late in this game tonight. 3rd and 3, handoff. Hickey will take it again. Outside the tackles, goes back inside. He'll get close to the line to gain. Looks like he'll have it. And it'll be a first down for the Lakers.
Yeah, really just a great series right there for Hickey, picking up that first down all by himself on 3 carries. And like you mentioned, with Joel Davis starting to get some carries, Hickey just reveling in the opportunity right now to show what he can do for this offense.
Halfway through the 3rd period, it is a 37-0 lead for your West Bloomfield Lakers over Southfield A&T. Lakers with a first down at their 46-yard line. Got to get up to the opposite side. 46 for a first. A whistle and a timeout. The Lakers not looking happy with what they had lined up. Want to change the personnel and talk it over on the sideline as you see Ken rise. So we have a handoff back to Hickey again. About 5 consecutive plays that 26 has touched the football. Physical tackle drives him into the ground, and a short gainer. We'll take another look at this as he goes outside the tackles. He escapes Caleb Lane and gets to just shy of the 45. He comes to goal talk with Ken Rise, and a substitution coming in. Nathan Mafucci, the quarterback, continues to lead this offense, and in between plays, they got all the time in the world to take their sweet time and set things up and make these teaching moments for their 3rd string quarterback. Ever important to have those opportunities should you ever need them late in the season. And you might find some new situations to use yet another quarterback in this rare 2-quarterback system in the MHSAA. With man in motion, there'll be a quarterback draw. Mafucci runs straight into Caleb Lane. That is first-year varsity versus multi-year starter, and the Warriors pick up a W on that rep.
Yeah, just loading the line of scrimmage right there because they know the Lakers are going to be running the football and almost nearly getting, he could have been called for a penalty right there almost, but just right at that borderline.
Caleb Lane has had a chance to learn from some of the best coaching staffs in Southeast Michigan and some football experts and lifers. Started his high school career at Cass Tech. The legendary Marvin Rushing running that program. He transferred for last season to Southfield A&T, where he's now learning from, of course, a Super Bowl champion in Keith McKenzie. From the 41-yard line on their side of the field, the Lakers hand it off. This time it's going to go outside. Another big running back taking the pigskin back to the line of scrimmage. But not much else for Dylan Woods.
And, you know, that's something that would be very important for this Lakers offense to gain is, you know, if they have Joel Davis who can gash you with the physical run game, they could have a second option to him with Dylan Woods. That would be huge in terms of the physicality of this football team.
Lopsided game in West Bloomfield. Close games throughout the rest of the OAA Red Division. Scoring update from Lake Orion. They trailed 22-20 early in the 4th quarter against Rochester Hills Stony Creek. Oxford in a one-score game, 21-14 versus Birmingham Groves. And Clarkston continues to have a close matchup against Harper Woods tonight. So a lot of close games in the OAA to provide a polar opposite to this lopsided game at West Bloomfield High School. 6 minutes left in the Clarkston-Harper Woods game. It's 27-21 as Bafucci rolls out to his right, throws it away toward the sideline. Had nothing going and ditched that play. A heads-up move for 19. With not one, not two, but four Warriors. Almost half that defense with all eyes on the quarterback.
And the main thing right there is keeping the clock moving, not doing anything that's going to force a kick and force the clock to stop.
Yeah, change of possession in this case keeps the clock rolling under the mercy rule because it was a turnover on downs and not something of a punt or a post-scoring play. Southfield A&T will begin in plus territory at the Laker 44-yard line. After an interception interrupted their previous drive from the 25 as they approached the red zone, and Bryce Chandler gave West Bloomfield that offensive series. 90 seconds to play, a handoff, and a first down and more. Breaking free, gets up to the sideline and takes a hard hit. But Nasir McEwen makes a big play, his longest rush of the entire night as he shifts around the outside of these second-string Lakers and brings that football way up the field with just about 60 seconds left. Southfield A&T, perhaps a little bit of hurry-up practice as they try to put points on the board late in this contest. First down at the Laker 29-yard line. Gain of 15 moves the chains as Vincent Wesley sets up with McEwen in the backfield and one split out short to the right is Jaden Ivey. 30 seconds left as we await the snap. All three timeouts for Southfield A&T. Wesley out of the shotgun. Little bit of a pocket looking toward the end zone, toward the sideline, and just enough pressure and a little bit of acrobat work makes that a no-go for Aiden Sutton with some close coverage at the sideline in the secondary as well.
And just a phenomenal job by Jamar Ray right there again, just getting to the backfield almost immediately. That may close out, or did they call a timeout?
There's your answer with 6 seconds left. We want to get one more shot at the end zone.
Are they going to trot out the field goal unit and
try to
take a quick make sure they don't get shut out?
We'll take a quick break as they adjust on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. As we come back on Civic Center TV and 89.3, join that play already in progress. And that goes way backwards as Wesley is tackled at the 41-yard line. No timeout. That will do it from West Bloomfield High School. Your final score, West Bloomfield 37, Southfield A&T 0 after 2 weeks of high school football at West Bloomfield High School. 2 straight 37-0 victories, Matt. 74 consecutive points. We'll talk it over in just a moment on the Laker postgame show on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoyed giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
Can't be late to your own party. Hurry up! Hurry up! Ah, do not cut me off. It's her fault? Her fault? Ah. You kidding me? Honk, honk, honk! Honk, honk, honk! Honk, honk! Late! Out of my way! Honk! I hate construction!
You should have slowed down.
My party.
You wouldn't act this way in a store, so don't act this way on the road. Driving slower saves lives.
After 96 minutes of football, West Bloomfield with 2 consecutive 37-0 victories to start the 2025 season. Tonight against their rivals in Southfield A&T. 2 consecutive years of regular season matchups early on, and 2 consecutive shutouts for West Bloomfield against Southfield. Tonight, an impressive performance in all 3 phases, Matt, but the defense shining tonight against the Warriors.
Yeah, and once again, the pass rush is just, it's almost unblockable, and that's what's going to be the most intriguing part going into next week. These past 2 weeks, you've obviously been going up against inferior competition to a degree. No offense to them, but obviously the Lakers have higher aspirations for their season than Fordson and Southfield A&T at this point. So going forward next week, playing a team like Rochester Adams, it's going to be, a fun test to see if they are as dominant as they have been these past 2 weeks.
Lakers now 8-4 all time in their history against Southfield A&T, including 2 consecutive shutouts. All of their matchups in this collective historical series between the Lakers and Warriors have never seen that happen. And for Southfield A&T, they were shut out 3 times last season. This season, shut out for the first time. Before all of last season and this particular shutout, they hadn't been shut out since 2018, so a very different tale of these 2 teams after tonight's matchup. But for West Bloomfield, as you set up, Matt, OAA Red Division schedule is coming forward. Rochester Adams coming to town next week. They're playing powerful football. They're incredibly well coached. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the entire state, arguably the best in the OAA Red Division in Ryland, Rhino Waters. Lakers got to clean up those penalties if they want to have a competitive game and finish next week with 3 consecutive home victories.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'm looking forward to is just how they counter the rushing attack next week, because you have to worry about the quarterback even more running the ball. But with how the corners have been able to set the edge and impact the running game so far, it's going to be a dogfight next week.
I'm interested to see what happens on the scoreboard next week, Matt, because as we've mentioned these first 2 weeks, big game next week, got regional eyes on it, being picked up by some of the biggest broadcasting outlets in Southeast Michigan, state champs and Local 4+ broadcasting next week's game for West Bloomfield High School. So our team's not on the call, which means Jake Schaff from our crew, who's been running our scoreboard these first 2 weeks, isn't operating the game. His first 2 games, operating the scoreboard, no points on the board for Laker opponents. I don't know. Doesn't seem like good luck from the football gods. But, these 11 West Bloomfield Lakers, they're going to ultimately decide that next week.
Yeah, it kind of goes with the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But hopefully the Lakers are able to maintain the level of play they've established. And right now, it seems with the way that their front seven's playing, I expect them to, because they're a violent group with how they play with their mentality.
And it's all about positioning, because Clarkston's game is close. Oxford's game is close. Lake Orion's looking at a possible loss also. It was a close OAA Red Division at the end of last season and a photo finish. Every game and every win matters. Lakers so far, 2-0, hoping to go 3-0. We'll be back in a few weeks right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Huge thank you to our entire team out at Lakers Stadium and here up in the booth alongside Matt Catoni. I'm Tyler Keefe. It's been Laker football on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Good night.